What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another BigFatJerk guide. Today we'll be taking a look at Freya 10-man hard mode. I believe this will be one of the first hard modes aside from XT and Hodir where Pagle teams will struggle. However, this is definitely a very doable hard mode week 1, and I hope you guys succeed with all the tips and tricks I learned on the PTR. Let's get right into it. To activate hard mode, simply leave all 3 guardians located at the edges of the map alive. Freya is a two-phase encounter where Phase 1 lasts approximately 6 minutes, killing 6 waves of adds. Phase 1 consists of 3 different types of add waves, and you will see each wave twice. Each add wave lasts 1 minute, and if you don't kill the wave within a minute, the second wave will still spawn and will likely overwhelm the raid, leading to a wipe. Each wave is random. The first wave we experience on this kill attempt is the trio of Snap Lasher, Ancient Water Spirit, and Storm Lasher. These are all tankable and stunnable, and must die within 12 seconds of each other, similar to the Thaddeus encounter in Nax. The Ancient Water Spirit will cast a Tidal Wave ability, which is a frontal cone damage. The Storm Lasher is a caster mob casting Stormbolt and Lightning Lash, and finally the Snap Lasher has a debuff called Hardened Bark that builds each time you attack it, increasing its DPS with each stack. On 10 man, just group all these up, AoE them down, and then single tab target higher health mobs to ensure they die at the same time. One of the best tips I can provide for this wave is to ensure all DPS have enemy nameplates turned on and utilize some personal responsibility and discipline to tab target to high health adds to make sure the DPS is even. None of the abilities they cast in 10 man is life threatening. The second wave we saw was the Ancient Conservator. This is a high health mob that should be tanked by your off tank. The main mechanic of this mob is that it casts Conservator's Grip, silencing the entire raid and can only be removed by standing under a mushroom. So the number one priority when you get this wave is to find a mushroom. Additionally, he will cast Nature's Fury on a random raid member, doing nature damage to them and all the allies around them. So make sure that that raider with Nature's Fury is by himself on a mushroom. If your DPS is struggling on Freya hard mode, it may not be a bad idea to use heroism on the second time you see the Ancient Conservator to ensure you get it down fast enough. Finally, the third wave, which is the most challenging, is the Detonating Lashers. This wave is a group of 12 detonating lashers that have no threat table and explode on death, dealing damage to everyone within 15 yards. One or two of these won't kill you, but a group of them will one-shot anybody. This is the wave that most raid teams will wipe on over and over, and today I'm going to provide you a lot of tips on how to successfully manage this wave. First, regardless of raid composition, the best advice I can give is for everyone to stack on the boss and begin AoEing these mobs to about 25%. At 25%, depending on your raid composition, you can do a variety of things. Boomkins and Shamans can knock the Lashers back, giving your raid some space to kill the ads while they're out of the raid. Hunter Frost Traps slow these mobs as well. Priests, Warriors, and Warlocks can AoE fear these mobs if you don't have Boomkins or Shamans. Additionally, Destruction Warlocks can AoE stun these ads as well. As a raid leader, your job is to identify what CC you have in the raid based on your raid composition and how to best kill these Lashers. If you have classes that can knock back, then the best strategy might be to knock back and continue AoEing while they are out of the raid. If you don't have a knockback and only have fears, then the best strategy might be to fear when they are low and their raid spreads out, single targeting each Lasher, which is what we did in this kill. Now on top of all these waves, there will be additional mechanics to deal with, the most important being Aronar's gifts. These spawn throughout the boss fight and must be the primary DPS target for ranged DPS at all times. These are green trees that spawn throughout the map. Make sure to keep an eye on your DBM timer. These spawn in vicinity of raiders, so it's important no ranged DPS are too far from the raid so they don't have to run a mile to get to the tree. If this isn't killed in time, it will heal a large portion of the trash wave's HP. These will also spawn in phase 2. The next ability is Sunbeam. She deals moderate damage to her target and all enemies within 8 yards to them, so be wary when you are next to the tank. She will periodically cast Unstable Energy, which are 3 beams of light that deal damage every second to a player who is in it, so move out of it. She'll periodically root a player that can't be freedomed out of, and the only way to get out of this is to destroy the root. It acts as an enemy mob and can be targeted. Macros targeting iron roots might be a useful tip if your raid is struggling to overcome this mechanic. If you are a DPS, you can DPS your own route, unless you're a hunter, in which case you have to melee it. Healers should definitely not DPS their route and keep healing. It is a ranged DPS's responsibility to be friendly and DPS these whenever they see them. They have very low HP and usually die in 1 or 2 hits. Finally, she has a ground stop ability that silences anyone who is casting when it is used, and it does massive damage to the raid. I believe this ability is what really increases the difficulty of this fight for healers. When everything else is going on and raid members are being damaged by other abilities, healers should keep an eye on their DBM timers to know when ground stop is coming and top the raid off. Divine Sack can be a good CD to use when the raid is around 50% HP and a ground stomp is about to come out. This might just prevent a wipe. In Phase 2, her self-healing debuff will disappear and you can actually DPS the boss now. All her previous mechanics are still in play with one additional mechanic, Nature Bomb. The easiest way to deal with Nature Bomb is to tank Freya at the river bank. When you see her spawn these green seeds on the ground, just move her to the other side of the river. Stay there until she spawns the next wave of seeds, and then just move her back across the river and rinse and repeat. Continue to kill ANR's gift, break people out of roots, and stay out of unstable energy. Phase 2 is quite simple and is likely a kill if you get here, which is why I recommend using heroism in Phase 1 at a wave you are struggling on rather than in Phase 2. I hope you found this guide helpful, and I wish you the best of luck in Freya hard mode.